Hey folks, I've been seeing a lot of information in the media about there's a huge push to get everybody that's 6 months old or older, everyone to get a flu shot. And I wanted to talk about this because we all know that with Mr. Gates pushing this so hard through all of the media that he puts money in their pocket, that there has to be a nefarious reason for him wanting you to get a flu shot. My particular guess is he is going to be pushing this so whenever the COVID vaccine comes out, your body is going to have two vaccines that are competing for your immune system, which is going to create chaos. And we already know that the immune system can go into a cytokine storm. I'm going to go into all this in greater detail, but just for the gist of it, I'm not recommending a flu shot this year. And this is going to be my approach to the information that's provided because I don't want to step on anybody's toes as far as copyright is concerned for the material. So, what I'm going to be doing is posting the links for you to be able to get the information that I'm talking about. If you pull up the article and you read it, you'll see the what I'm referring to on these pages. But I'm not going to be actually posting the information directly from their posted content because I don't want to infringe on their copyrights. But the first thing I want to look at is there's a article from the New York Post that they posted, and they said, "Is the flu shot safe amid the COVID pandemic?" Well, I got read the article and I found out that they are big Twitter and Apple people because they say that they understand their content because they're funded by News Corp and News Corp is in the bed with Twitter. So I don't believe anything they say automatically because they're in with the tech tyrants who are out to control all this business. And if you actually go to the annual report on the link below, you'll see on page 7 where he talks about that they're in bed with Apple and Twitter and that they understand their content and what they're trying to do. So, yeah, that's enough reason for me not to listen to them. They also have a subsidiary, HarperCollins Publishing in New York and Scranton, PA. So these are people that are in line with the technocrats. So I'm not going to believe anything that they tell me. The main push is for everybody to get a flu shot. They're trying to say that it's going to help you with your immune system. Well, that's a lie because there are 45 different strains of the flu, and they give you a shot for only one of those strains. So there's a whole bunch of other strains out there that they're supposed to be protecting you from. All this immune system business, that it'll help your immune system and help doctors be able to decide whether you have the flu or COVID. Come on, give me a break. You know what they're going to do? They're going to test you for COVID. Why? Because they get paid up to $39,000 per person that they test. They're not going to be testing for the flu. Are you kidding me? No, they don't make money off of that like they do COVID. They're just going to label everything as COVID. But the next article that I want you to look at is one from Penn Live, Pennsylvania's information saying that the COVID-19 season is coming and that we need to hurry up and get a flu shot. Yeah, well, I saw that the format was a tabloid, and the minute I see that, I think of the National Enquirer, and that's definitely something that prints untruths. But I looked deeper to see who funded them, and it's a place called Spotlight, PA. So let's look at their funders and see how they're tied to all of Bill Gates' money, because believe me, there's a connection to the whole agenda if you look deep enough. So that's what I'm uncovering now is all the connections. Dug a little deeper and found out about Spotlight, PA. It's actually supposed to be independent news. Yeah, right. Okay. They use 48 different newsroom partners across the state to compile all their information. They're based out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They have different things that they are doing since they have combined sources. And They say that they're launching a race and criminal justice reporting initiative and that they're changing to public service journalism. Well, the main thing that I found is that they're in line with the National Press Foundation. And, when you start looking at that stuff, it really turns out that it's a training camp for Bill Gates propaganda. All right, I put the link to the article that Robert Kennedy Jr. did about how Bill Gates has all of the press in his pocket and how he controls the message by using his money to do so. And one of the organizations that Bill Gates uses is this National Press Foundation. And it's really, I want you to think about it. Do you think that it's a coincidence that the information about getting a flu shot's coming out now? I mean, they always start in September or October telling everybody to get a flu shot. Well, this National Press Foundation had a vaccine boot camp from July 30th to August 12th, where they got everybody on board with the specific narrative that they wanted them to say. And this place is absolutely nothing but an indoctrination for his vaccine agenda narrative and what they're planning to do as far as um, the agriculture and our food supply. As you will see, those are events that he also has planned, and I'm going to cover that on the next page. So the first thing I wanted you to know is about the vaccine boot camp. They picked 25 people from various media that they selected and put through their program, all about talking about vaccines, what you need to say, what the narrative is going to be. And then they had an event July 13th to the 17th that they talked about tracking the coronavirus relief funds. Then they have a event September 15th to 18th. They're going to be talking about our food supply, and they're going to be talking about agriculture. Well, if you think that Duraco or however you say it was not geoengineered, I got news for you. It was geoengineered because they're trying to get rid of the food supply. That's why they're doing all this crap. They're wanting us to become dependent on the government and to not be self-sufficient. So we have to push against that narrative. And they're also wanting everybody to move out of the country and move into the city. It's this whole control thing. That's all they're about is control. So in Paris in October, they have this um, Paris Accords of Science planned where they're going to be talking J2J. And what I gleaned from the information that they had last year when they talked in to about Hong Kong and the vaccines there, um, from what I gleaned from that, they're going to be getting together all of their indoctrinated journalists so that everybody's going to be on the same page from what they have going forward. And then in November, right around election time, I find it very interesting that they're going to be doing a conference on criminal justice. Yeah, you can expect false flags then. And then there's going to be another event in December spotlighting state house and local reporting for Washington, D.C. So we can expect more baloney and false flags to pop up the closer that the election time gets near. Okay, this is the links for the National Press Foundation, and I want you to go to the website and I want you to see all of the quote unquote educational programs that the fellows are doing to make their goal of quote unquote making journalists better. All right, this is nothing but training camps for propaganda. And I want you to see it, and I want you to see all of the events that they have planned. I want you to look at the award dinners, and I want you to see all of the companies that are in bed with them. And I want you to realize that this whole focus of this is to train them to say what they need to say to support the narrative. Now, in looking at Spotlight PA and their connection with this National Press Foundation, since they've got 48 players across the state of Pennsylvania, there's really no way to connect all of them because the Bill Gates Foundation doesn't list who he does contracts with in his annual reports. He just lists those that he's given donations to. So I want you to look at this article that I've posted here that was done by a young man named Tim Schwab. He did excellent work. And because of his excellent work, I was able to follow it up and actually track down everything when I started looking at all of the money behind all of the push to get a flu shot. And there are several fellows that are from Pennsylvania media that are involved in this National Press Foundation. And I'm willing to bet that they have a contract with Bill and Melinda Gates due to the change in course in the way that they do business at this Spotlight PA that sponsors Penn Live that put out that article. So the foundation, I'm talking about Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, only reports its charitable grants. It's not the money that it's awarded through contracts. But I'm here to tell you there's a person from the Philadelphia Enquirer, of which the Spotlight PA works, called Chris Palmer, and he is a fellow in that National Press Foundation. And that's one of the places that the Spotlight PA gets their info from. So, of course, I'm not going to believe anything these people are saying either. The next thing that I want you to look at is one of the board of directors for this National Press Foundation. And I put the link there so you can look him up. He is the director of product design, and specifically, I want you to look and see that he is part of Gannett. I couldn't find anything on Gannett product, so I'm assuming the product is this National Press Foundation because it says that his background is in journalism. So I wanted to talk more about Gannett, and it goes back to that young man's article. So I'm going to go into it again on the next page. So I posted the information from Tim Schwab's article for you again because in it is more information about the people that Bill Gates pays from Gannett and from the Poynter Institute to silence people that he says are detractors from the agenda and to debunk people by calling them conspiracy theorists and by saying that medical people that go against his narrative provide misinformation, of which I will gladly say I've been accused because I definitely try to get people to see the truth whenever possible. So, this is who he uses for censorship. These are his bullying puppets, the people that he gets you to follow online and try to debunk everything that you say. I want you to pull up the following link upon Gannett, and when it pops up, you're going to be surprised because the very first thing you're going to see for the first few minutes, or first few seconds rather, is Black Lives Matter. They want to make sure they have that in your psyche and they have that in your subconscious mind. So that's the first thing that you see. So after that, I want you to look at the link about their investors because it really shows the long arm of control that Gannett has over the media, including all of the outlets that they have overseas. So you need to be familiar with them and know that the main paper that they have that they use in the United States is called USA Today. So you know that's a propaganda machine. Don't even bother reading it. I'm not going to say what you can do with it, but I think you get the idea. All right, so I posted the link to Tim Schwab's article again because it talks about Ganner, but it also talks about Poynter Institute, and I want you to be familiar with what they do. So I listed the link there for Poynter so you can look them up and see how they call themselves the self-proclaimed fact checkers that go through everybody's stuff and try to debunk what they say if they go against the narrative. I see one of my links here has been grayed out already, so they may have already been starting to try to pull out content because they realize that I'm on to them, but that's fine because I'm going to expose them every chance I get. One of the things they like to do is use their paper, the PolitiFact, and I fully expect it to be used with Facebook saying they're going to try to do away with quote unquote disinformation. They want to do away with everything that the conservatives are trying to say, so I'm sure they're going to use PolitiFact to try to use it for campaign purposes to try to sway the election. So just be aware that, Poynter Institute and Gannett are the tools that Bill Gates uses to try to sway the media and everything in his direction and try to debunk people. Uh, these are the folks he uses. That's all you need to know. And the last article that I want to talk about is an article that they said that according to the CDC, you need to get a flu shot in September or October. It's going to be the best time. And I wanted to talk about it as well because the CDC gets money from Bill Gates, so you can't believe a thing that they say either. This particular article I put on there for you, you can see it's from a magazine or publication called mentalfloss.com, um, trying to snow you and tell you to get a flu shot. So that information is there if you choose to read it. They're trying to say that the doctors and hospitals are going to be overwhelmed. So the CDC is saying everybody that's over 6 months old needs to get a flu shot. Well, that's a bunch of baloney. So um, I also wanted to cover here, I found an article from Armstrong Economics that actually follows the money trail and finds where Fauci was paid a 100 million by Bill Gates to do whatever he wanted to. Um, and he has a conflict of interest, obviously, since he's over the NIH and the infectious disease. So Fauci needs to be fired immediately. I don't call him Dr. Fauci because he is a fraud. Everything he has done has been a fraud. He hasn't gotten anything right. So I just refer to him as Fauci because I call him Fauci the fraud. Bill Gates pays the CDC through his foundation, but remember what I told you about him paying through the foundation? If he has a contract with people, you're not going to see it show up in his annual report. So if you look at this article from Armstrong Economics, it tells you how many millions he's paying them to keep them in his pocket. All right, guys, I want you to share this with as many people as you possibly can. I thank you for your time and attention. If you've sat here through all of this, if you want to support my work, you can either subscribe to my channels on YouTube. I have a personal channel that I put my music and my book on that I did on domestic violence, or I have another channel that is just for all of my educational videos. And you can also support me on BitChute. I have some information over there. I'm just getting started with them, but my channel is RN for Healthier You, so it's easy for you to remember. Take care. God bless. Make sure you take plenty of vitamins and C especially, and make sure you take a mask off if you're wearing one for your health's sake, okay? And make sure you get plenty of vitamin D from the sunshine because it's going to do you good too. And they say that's one of the main risk factors for people is that they don't get enough vitamin D from the sun. So make sure that you do that. I'm going to be creating a channel on Brighteon.com, but I'm not up and running there yet. But I will be using the same handle, RN for a Healthier You, so you can watch for that. Blessings to you all. In God's service, I remain. And as RN for a Healthier You, I have your best interest at heart. So please promote this to as many people as you can. Don't know how long it's going to be up because they love to censor me, but please get this information out to as many people as possible. Thank you for your time. God bless.